so the thing is that I can somewhere I can't get the phone. There is no issue in my room. So we have to manage it when the same what's I don't know what I can for. So I do decided to start this Python series. As you can see, there is a list of this is also listed here that I'm gonna start Python from today onwards. So we're gonna work on this Python thing and learn what exactly this Python is, and hopefully we'll try to have some little questions also if possible at the end of the day. Before that, we'll try to have all of the stuff with practice. Definitely you will not be able to see those practice sessions whatsoever on the phone and a laptop. You can reach out for that and back recording share. So whatsoever it is, this Python actually starts with, it is exactly the syllabus which is given for O level. However, we'll try to understand Python of working at the development level so that in future we can also work on this Python and deploying projects, right? We're going to start it with the introduction to programming. No, we are not going to start it in a basic part, which is flow chart now. We'll start it from like should I think it should not be bigger from that will cover in future, but for this time we have to start what exactly I think is the issue first. The very first thing that we will check what we will start it from. So yeah, so it is introduction to Python, which is so that Python is a very powerful language. So powerful language in terms of development. Most of the applications I'm using around the world are written in Python. It is a high-level interpreted and interactive, along with the object-oriented programming, scripting language. Right. One more thing we have to consider: it is a scripting language. It was designed to be easily buildable. It uses English keywords frequently, whereas the other languages use punctuations, such as printf, scanf. It is easier than that. Now we'll go for the features of Python language. Python language is interpreted, as we can say. The term interpreted is basically line by line. So say that it means that this programming is processed at the runtime by the interpreter, and you do not need to compile your program before execute, right? Interpreted languages run directly from source code to human generated, where the program written in the compiled language in C++, we are required to first compile the program, then we are run the program, right? So there is no such object file being created, and Python consists as an interpreted language because Python program are executed by the interpreter itself. Next it says that the Python is interactive. This means that you can actually work with the Python prompt and interact with interpreter directly to execute your programs and let me just check it correctly. If it is possible for you to get through my things, or if it is not, like there is also possibility that also I'm saying is I will not recorded white disturbance or the noise, right? I think yeah, there is no such a thing. get another account. So yeah, exactly what we are supposed to do is there is no situations for variables. So we are doing one thing which is right. So keep reading sleep mode and start the execution of things from nature. This says that Python is interactive, which means that you can actually work the Python prompt and interact with the interpreter directly to execute your program. Rather than going to the theory part, I would love to go with execution part so that you can have some recall and some, some tasks and some things which is actually good. So the very first question or the very first thing that is actually the very first thing it says that we are going to know what exactly an identifier are. Identifier is a unique name that enables you and us to identify something. Something identifiers are used to label variables. Variables are actually those names that we try to where we give input, right? Class is object or module. They begin with a language, either a letter or underscore, or they can contain letter or underscore or digit. This implies that single identifier cannot contain any language, cannot contain any space. They cannot be they cannot have punctuation mark. Along with that, we can say that Python is a case sensitive language, whereas if we write age in capital letter and at the same time age is smaller letter, as an example is given here. These two are the different. If we write capital A then G E in small, these three variables with the same name are actually different identifier in the Python. Same legal identifier, X is in a small and age in the small letter mark to another total mark. These are the some name of the identifier. So we can say that variable are the example of identifier. Identifiers are name given to identify something, right? Okay. So here we go with another thing which is keywords in Python. And now what we will say that keywords are designed at the time of designing a language. Some words are reserved to do specific tasks, as we say taking input. And when we were working on C, when we were learning our first language C or Python, the very first thing we write as an input or print off or scan off or hasn't key. So these all the words, right? These all the key words are known as the keywords or the reserved words, and they are called as keywords. All the reserved words, they have a specific task they are compiling and in the language, right? So it says that keywords cannot be used in the variable name. In Python, there are case sensitivity, right? As we know, there is actually a case sensitivity. If we say that input, a small letter is a keyword. At the same time, we can use capital letter of input as another form, another function made by us, right? Use a different function. So there is a table. It says that this is a table. So table 3.3. It is a table 3.3 has a list of Python languages keywords. And we'll try to have these keywords. We'll try to fetch all these keywords by our language itself and Python itself. So we'll try to code. We'll write some code in the terminal and we'll get the exact keyword list from Python itself, Python language itself, right? So we'll find here as a terminal, which is the very first thing, and increase its size so that everyone can see there. If it is feasible for you to see, just try to have skin here, right? I'm not going. So I think it will be better for me to record everything on film. Uh, just one request: ignore the background noise, right? If possible. So we're gonna work. We're gonna fetch Python 3 keywords, right? So we're gonna fetch here the keywords. So we'll write down keywords in Python, right? Python, right? So we have to write as an import, that is a module, import keyword. Okay, so keyword is a module and we have to import it. So we did import keywords and we are supposed to print these keywords, right? So we will print this keyword dot kw list, keyword list, right? And when we'll hit the enter, we get all those keywords which are actually as in false, none, true, pg partial, peg partial, and as, assure, asynchronous, await, break, clash, continue, definition, delete, elif, else, except, finally, or, for, from, or, global, if, import, in, is, lambda, non-local, not, pass, race, return, try, while, break, and if. These are some keywords. These are actually the keywords of Python 3 language, and we get that. How to get these Python keywords from your side? You can write it as an you can write it in the very first line, import keyword, and then you have to write print keyword, which is a module that we have imported just now, and we use to identify or fetch, and kw list, right? Kw, the keyword list, it must be a function that returns all the keywords out there, or must be a list, there model. Whatsoever it is, we are fetching it up, right, from the model. So I hope you got this keyword list, how to fit this keyword list, and now we're gonna stop recording, right? So now next is difference between keywords and identifiers. We just gain information about what exactly the definition is identifier and what exactly the definition of examples are keywords, right? So there is also like we find some confusions, we will get some confused what exactly the difference between identifiers and the keywords. These two are actually somewhere working like in Python, we are using them for some tasks. So it is that keywords are the words that are used by Python itself or Python interpreter to recognize the structure of the program, right? And if we say that as these words, which are keywords, are used for have the specific meanings for the interpreter, and they cannot use for any other purpose. Like if we write it in print, and we print has a specific meaning, a specific definition in the compiler in the Python interpreter, and if we will create the print and define it, we will try to use it for ourselves, it will return as an error, because if we will make this print then user defined, and now we'll start working print for our world whatsoever the function we have defined out there. So we will what the function will use for print that output, right? So there are some specific reasons that's why some words are being reserved in the Python interpreter itself. So it says that they cannot be used for any other purposes, and so that keywords are reserved, they are built in. And when we try to know what exactly identifier is a unique name that enables us, the user, to identify something. Identifier are used to label a verification function classes object modules. They begin with either a letter or underscore. They can contain a letter, underscore, or visit, but they cannot contain a punctuation mark. They are used. So we can define an identifier as an identifier a user-defined name given to part of a program name or variable with object of function. Right? Now we have a word which is named as literal. Now we will try to know what exactly this word means, code the meaning, and what exactly the word is, or what exactly their function in the program is, right? So literal can be defined as a data which is given in a variable or constant. For example, 7 minus 2.9 xyz hello or literal. So it says that literal can be defined as a data given to literal can be defined as a data, so data which is given in a variable or constant. So literal is actually let's say an example, we'll try to write it in a minute. So let's say we write this here, x is equals to 19, right? So this 19, so this 90 will be called as literal, right? So we say that, for example, 7 minus 2.9 x y z hello literal. Literals are fixed numeric or non-numeric values, but can suppose a following literal. So it actually supports some literal. So the string literal strings are the only literal sequence type of contains that sequence of characters. However, characters are not a type, so string are the lowest level primitive of character storage and manipulation. String literals are formed by enclosing text in a single or double quotation, right? So, like string, as we know, that there are various types of data in any language, like string, integer, and set, tuple, blah blah blah. So, okay, so this is actually like it says that literal are different types of literal, and here we are talking about string literal. String literal are all those input data that we taken in the form of in under in double quotation or single quotation mark, and which is actually which an interpreter can think it knows it as a string part, right? A string letter can also span multiple lines. It also be enclosed in a matching group of 3 single or double quotations, and generally referred as a triple quotation string, right? Okay. So, like you basically, if you want to take a string in the form of input, you can write it with x, y, let's say v. It is, if we try to put in a v, it will y is in v. Let's say we again taken an input, right, and we taken a double quotation while we are human, right? This is another part, this is another input, and now the most important part is that this w is equals to, like y is equals to v, is not equals to the variable which has name as in v, right? So we'll get as in v and we get an output as in v or human. At the same time, if we'll try to write it in v x, right, x y as in we'll try to take a triple string with the multiple line without that triple input. It will give an error like this e, and it gives an syntax error, as you can see that string the std in error line number 1 and std input line number 1 में error है, and the error is syntax error. It is EOL while scanning the string, right? So if you want to give input in multiple, like more than one line, we are supposed to use these three quotations, either double quotation or single quotation. Now we'll write it I, K, L, and now we enclose it with the same type of quotation mark. And now if I put X, Y, as we get then the same output, right? So this is actually we call as an input in the multiple line string input, right? String literal input, right? It said that next is numeric literal, and numeric literal is Python supports three types of numeric literal. So there are three types of digit inputs also supported by the Python, which is the very first is the integer, then second one is the float, and the third one is the complex. Complex is actually imaginary numbers or numbers that contains like I or J out there, uh, uh, and integer is having a whole number, and those float integer float integer are actually digits where decimal, right? So these are actually the inputs, right? Okay, so next is we have completed this part, and I'm thinking to close this fan because this is super disturbing, but let's try what exactly how to close, right? And for after 3 p.m. we'll close it, we'll try to close this fan so for that we can have learning and I guess I'm going to stop this because I was looking. So we'll try to resume this our learning after 3 p.m. Till now, thank you so much for joining me. Bye bye.